Today is Sheriff Troy Nehls. And Sheriff Nehls, he has served 2 terms as Fort Bend Constable prior to his election of sheriff in 2012. He has a master's in criminal justice from University of Houston. See, when I say University of Houston, when I say A&M, yeah, see, U of H needs something. Not going rah, rah, you know, something like a cougar. But he has a master in criminal justice from University of Houston and is also a retired U.S. Army major. He is wife Jill and their 3 girls and their dog Bo. Sheriff, you got to dress up your dog tomorrow. It's National Dress Up Your Dog tomorrow. They both live outside. They live outside of Sugarland. Sheriff Nehls served 2 terms. Oh, Chad, you sent it to me twice. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, our county sheriff, Sheriff Troy Nehls.
Do I need this?
No.
Can you hear me all?
Use the mic.
Use the mic?
Use the mic.
All right. Thank you for allowing me to talk to you this morning. I pulled into the parking lot and I saw all these cars. And I said, boy, Troy, don't you feel special? All these cars to listen to you talk about the status of the Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office and share some of the great news, the great things that we are doing. And then Amy Norvell completely deflated my ego and said, it's like this every month. However, she said, today though, Sheriff, there are 126 individuals here, the largest attendance you've had. But really, what it says is that the status of Fulshear, the status of the Fulshear Area Chamber of Commerce is strong. This is a family up here in Fulshear, and you must be proud to live in such a well-organized area with the leadership you have, not only in the city of Fulshear, but with Donna as your chamber leader here. So congratulations to you all for building such a great team and a family. If anyone here can tell me what you talked about the lotto earlier, if anybody can give me the 6 numbers, not only can you ride in the helicopter, you can have it. You can keep it as your pet, your toy, your extracurricular, vehicle. Really, we have a helicopter out here, and I'd like to thank Deputy Evans from the Sheriff's Office, who is the pilot of the helicopter, and we have tactical flight officers. One of them here is Deputy Deutsch in the back, TFOs, tactical flight officers, and we also have Officer Edison, who's also with the helicopter, and he works for the City of Sugarland Police Department. So the air support that Fort Bend County has it's a regional asset. We reached out to the City of Rosenberg, Missouri City and Sugarland law enforcement agencies, and so this is a team that we have built, and the helicopter is flown around during the daytime. And the second helicopter we will have up here probably in the next 6 to 12 months. That helicopter will have the ability to fly at night through the purchase of a grant. It's a UASI grant, it's a federal grant, about $500,000. So that helicopter, the second helicopter, will be flown around in the evening time, and hopefully we'll be able to identify the limited number of crooks, because crime is down, and I'll talk about that, the limited number of crooks that we have breaking into homes at nighttime. But let me share with you just a minute here about our tagline, my tagline. My tagline is keeping the promise. It's keeping the promise. 4 years ago, when I ran for sheriff, we talked about, I analyzed the current operations, and what we discovered is crime solve rates could have been a little bit better, and the irresponsible overtime spending. So I have 2 graphs up here, but one of them is burglaries. I'm passionate about solving residential burglaries. And I'm proud to say over the last 3 years, through the dedicated men and women that are employed as investigators for the Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office, we have improved the solve rate on residential burglaries by 300%. I know this is hard to see here, but previously, before I became sheriff, it was at 4%. My first year, we took it to an 11% solve rate. The 2014, we went up to 12%, and this year we had a 16% solve rate. Now, you say 16%, Sheriff, you're telling me you guys are only solving 16 burglaries out of every 100 committed? I said, yes. The national average is between 10 and 11. Now, 16% is good. I challenged the detectives. I says, but we can do better, because nothing in Fort Bend County should ever be average. We shouldn't be average at anything in Fort Bend County. We're better than that. So now I'm challenging them. I says, you think you can get it to 20? Little couple sweat, people sweating. The lieutenant's thinking, will it cost me my job if we're not there? Now, listen, we're doing very, very well when it comes to burglaries, so we're solving 300% more. And what I'm proud to tell you is that in 2012, there were 1,672 burglaries, 1,672. In 2013, my first year, it went down to 1,313. So burglaries are going down. 2014, it went down to 1,220. Now, this year in 2015, it went down to 1,134. So that's a 32% reduction in the number of residential burglaries in Fort Bend County. And I'm very proud of that. Now, people ask, how? Wait a minute. Fort Bend County, you're solving 300% more of them, and you have 500 and so less burglaries this year than you did in 2012, and the population has increased 100,000? How do you do that? I want to give myself all the credit. Oh, come on. No, what it is, it's relationships with other agencies. It's the expectations. It's holding people accountable. It's changing the culture and the way we do business. And that's why we're successful. We have patrol deputies patrolling in those neighborhoods, and they're not on their phone talking to their girlfriend all day long. They're actually looking around. And we have nosy neighbors. If you are not a nosy neighbor, get to be a nosy neighbor. Because if somebody's breaking into your house, you're hoping your neighbor's nosy, right? So get to be a nosy neighbor, and a lot of people calling the sheriff's office reporting suspicious activity. So crime in Fort Bend County, there's a thing called Part 1 crimes. Burglary is one of them, theft is another, robberies, auto theft, sexual assault, aggravated assault, and murder. And those 7 categories of criminal offenses have gone down 6% in the last 3 years. So we're seeing crime continues to go down, really not only in Fort Bend County, but across the state, across the nation. Crime has been going down in this country for 30 years. It has. So we're doing very well here in Fort Bend County. Now those that are concerned about their pocketbook, and of course I'm conservative, but I'm really, really fiscally conservative, more moderate on my social issues, but I'll leave that be. Listen, this here talks a little bit about your money. The sheriff's office has a budget of $70 million. We're approaching 780 personnel. I looked at the overtime that we're spending in our criminal investigations division, because they were solving 4% of their burglaries. And I said, how can you spend, with 40 plus detectives, $369,000 in overtime with 40 people, and you solve 4% of your burglaries? So what we did is we took detectives and we moved some of them to evening shift, more accessible to the victims of those burglaries. And what that has been able to do for us is now my first year, this year's overtime in 2015 was $86,000. The overtime in criminal investigation has gone down 77%, and we're solving more burglaries, and we're holding people more accountable. So I'm really, really concerned about your tax dollars, and I run the sheriff's office like a business. If you haven't been if you haven't had a tour of the sheriff's office, I highly recommend you take one, because about 23% of your tax dollars for Fort Bend County go to the sheriff's office. And that jail that we have, big, beautiful jail, is almost 1,800 beds. So when we were averaging 800 to 900 locals in the jail, I said, well, hell, there's a lot of room at the inn, you know? And the lights are on, and we're having to provide heat and air conditioning. And I said, look, so what we did is we reached out immediately in the first 3 months. We sat down with the U.S. Marshal in Houston and said, hey, you got some overcrowding issues? Yeah, we have some overcrowding issues. You know, all those illegals coming across the border. I said, okay, well, let me try to hold some of them for you. And so we started that right away in March of 2013. We continue to do it today. We average between 125, 150 federal inmates each and every day at 7 days a week. And I'm proud to say that about 5.6, it was 5.3 million net about 2 months ago. I will say now it's about $5.6 million net going back into the general fund. I don't get it. It goes back into the general fund, but I truly know that the Commissioner's Court, they appreciate it. Now, when you think about a $70 million budget, 5.6 million over the last couple of years, almost 3 years here soon, is not a lot of money, but it's still $5.6 million. So I'm trying to do what I can to try to ease that tax burden on you all by running that jail more like a business. And we're doing very well when it comes to running our detention facility. So these are some of the things that we are doing at the Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office. I noticed these signs down here, and I know you're a lot of business owners talking about the open carry. I don't know if anybody has a hog leg strapped to their side here, but you're in a church, so you should know better. Well, let me tell you when it comes to the open carry. Those that have it's the LTC license to carry. There's no concealed handgun license now. Now it is defined as LTC, license to carry. If you have to carry one of these things and you're carrying it openly, I'm going to give you about 2 months. Especially if you drive a nice fancy vehicle, and I'm assuming you guys all have leather seats in your car. This will ruin your leather. It will ruin your leather. It's going to scratch your leather. Eventually you're going to get a hole in your leather, and eventually you're going to stop carrying it openly. As your sheriff, I'm just recommending to those that choose to carry it openly, use some common sense and logic. The law allows you to carry a weapon openly in a library. Why would you? Well, we're going to have people that choose to do that. And it also allows individuals to carry weapons in county buildings that do not fit the definition of a court. So guess where I was the other day talking to 95 employees that most of them are female, and they were shaking. The Central Appraisal District. Yeah. Think about that now. Appraisal time, or protest time, April, May, June, July, and you can carry a hog leg right on in there. So I said, if you raise my taxes, my appraisal $30,000, and I walk in like this, you may just give me, yeah. But the point is, they said, and so what we're doing is we're going to make sure that we have a lot of force protection there to make those employees feel comfortable. But my point is this. I'm going to say to the legislature in this state, shame on you for doing this because you didn't do your homework. You shouldn't allow a weapon in a library, and you shouldn't allow a weapon at the Central Appraisal District. There's a lot of emotion running in that place for those that have had a property tax hike. Even that big, beautiful criminal justice building that we have, most counties, their courthouse is a multi-purpose, multi-use building. The tax assessors in some, the county clerk, the district clerk, our district attorney, his office is in that building. And so we said, well, the DA's doesn't fit the definition of a court. And so our governor and some other leadership have said, well, you got to be able to allow a person to go in there and carry a weapon. I said, if you think for 1 minute I'm going to let anybody walk into John Healy's office, either his or the other 60 other ADAs, with a weapon in their, there ain't no way, come down and arrest me. No, what you'd have to do is sue me for $1,500 a day, because I'm not allowing anybody in that criminal justice building with a weapon carried openly. Forget it. So there are some things that are going to have to be readdressed to the legislature here in 2 years. Another example, there's no limit on how many guns you can carry. You could carry 6. You could carry a hog leg on each side, have one here on your back, and there's no number. So the legislature is going to have to kind of look at this and tweak this law a little bit in 2 years, and hopefully we will get better. And I just wish that they would reach out to more law enforcement leaders and talk about some of the issues that we face today with the Central Appraisal District, with what you all have to do now as business owners to protect yourself and or your employees. So that's my take on the open carry law that come out. Any questions? Go to the order. Any comments? Anything I can do? Yes.
How many people have you guys actually seen open carrying citizens since it went into effect?
I haven't seen any other than my fellow law enforcement, but I don't go anywhere either. I go to work, go home, take care of the kids and my dog Bo, and then I go back to work. But actually, when I was talking to the Central Appraisal District, there were a few that have seen it. Our dispatch center has not been inundated with phone calls regarding, but that doesn't mean it's not taking place. That means that people aren't calling. But I think that Fort Bend County, you know, this is the best out of the 254. It's a very educated county, and I think people are pretty responsible if you're going in Fort Bend County if you're going to carry it openly. Those of you that voted in the bond election in last November, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because what that included in the facilities bond, which was like $98 million, we're going to build a freestanding sheriff's office up here. All right? Matter of fact, I have a meeting after this with Commissioner Myers to talk about the location. I would like it right around in here, maybe closer towards 1463. It's going to be 18,000 square feet, and that freestanding sheriff's office will serve the residents of Cinco Ranch, down here in Fulshear, down towards Simonton. I'll maybe throw 40, 50 or so patrol deputies, 10 or 12 detectives, and they will be permanently assigned up here, be a captain on day shift, a lieutenant on evenings and nights, and that's all they will do is service the areas up here in Cinco Ranch, Fulshear, and Simonton. And that will be a good thing. We have a little beat integrity so the detectives will know the limited number of burglars we have up here and others. So it's going to be a good thing. It may improve, it may improve the response times. But the response times that we have at the sheriff's office is about 14 minutes. It's between 13 and 14 minutes. Whether that's an alarm call or whatever it is, it's about 13 to 14 minutes. Now we're trying to analyze what a in-progress call, how long would it take if you have a burglar in your house and or your business is being robbed. I'm going to predict that's under 5 minutes. But it's a big county, 885 square miles. But we believe that this annex up here is going to improve those crime solve rates and provide even better law enforcement service to you all up here. So thank you.
Will that include a jail?
It will have 2 holding cells. But that will be all. I mean, I'm sure they'll take people there to process some things, but then they'll have to go down into Richmond. And the bond election also included a new 44,000 square foot sheriff's office next to somewhere around the Criminal Justice Center. I don't know where it's going to be located yet, but we're working on that. So the status of the law enforcement here in Fort Bend County is strong. It really is. Yes, ma'am. Well, today I'm thinking from the people that I'm talking to, maybe 6 months to acquire the piece of property from today, and then a year to build it. So I'm hoping to be up here in about 18 months. And I want this building, I've asked to have this building built first, and then reallocate my resources up here, and then build the 44,000 square foot one down in Richmond. So this will be a good thing, right along this West Park someplace. Anybody want to donate 4 acres? No? I can't believe what it costs a square foot out here. It's ridiculous. Anyway, it's unbelievable. So, any other questions? Any concerns? The helicopter is here. If you would like to take a look at that helicopter, go on ahead and look at it. It's great to have. Very few of your tax dollars go into that helicopter. I've used a lot of seized money in that. And through the 1033 program, that helicopter was free. So it's the military taking equipment and then transferring that to local law enforcement agencies. So we receive those for $0. Zero. That it? Thank you for your time and your attention.